to share this out and get this going. Okay, I'm doing good, Carol. How are you? Okay, so we are gonna make, my father-in-law wanted some candles. I really actually have stopped making candles and make wax melts. So that's kind of why you guys are able to see the random wax melt still. But candles are a little bit more difficult to make. But I told him I would make him some because I still have some of my stuff to make. So I figured while I was making them, I'd come on live. That's good. How's your Saturday going, friend? Have you gotten any crafting or anything done today? I washed my car. My car got washed. I only did the outside though. That was enough for me. I was done after that. I was like, yep, and we're done. Okay, so the candles that I'm going to be making are in these mason jars. So that's what we're going to do. I have all different things to make candles. If you guys have ever seen me making candles before, then you know. We're going to turn this down just a little bit. Then you know it's a process. You know it takes me a little bit of time. But we're going to do it today. We're going to make some candles. So if you know anybody that would like to watch, definitely invite them by. With these ones, I have tried to put 2 wicks in them. It does not do good. So what I need to actually do is use my bigger wicks or my wood wicks. Wood wicks I absolutely love. So that's actually what we're going to use today is the wood wicks. We're going to give them a go. If you've ever gotten a candle with wood wicks, you know they make that crackling sound because it literally is wood. So we're just gonna pop this right in here like that. Okay. So we're gonna take, so these are just flat on the end, if you didn't know. And you just take your little thin wood. And I get these in all the different kind of craft stores. Michael's has them. I think Hobby Lobby has them. Azon, of course, like all the things, okay? I have to be careful because last time I said anything like that, I got told I was trying to get traffic off the source, and I'm not. I'm just telling you guys where you can find these things if you ever want to make your own. So if you're wondering how candles are made, I'm going to show you right now. So we're letting that warm up. Now you can use these or you can use glue dots. I'm actually going to use glue dots for these because glue dots tend to work better for the flat metal part of it. So I'm just going to take the glue dot in the metal part right here and I'm going to attach it to my metal part. So you can see my glue dot on there, right? And then I'm going to take my jar and I'm going to place it down. Now I want to show you guys something that I have. If I can find what I did with it. You can buy a tool that literally takes your candle. It's pink like this because this is actually to cut your wick. But you can buy a tool, if I can find it. I don't know where it is right now, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time. Anyways, you can find a tool that will literally like center it directly for you. So we're just going to center this directly down the middle of the candle. You want to make sure that it is center because when you burn your candle, if it's not center, it's not going to get all of the wax and it's not going to burn it all. And so you can see in this one I have one and it's got to be able to go all the way out after it burns for about an hour. So this is what one of my candles looks like. This one was the love flowers that I made and did. I'm telling you, making candles is not easy and nor is it cheap. That's why I don't really do it a whole lot anymore. So again, we're going to take the metal part and the glue dot. And you're just going to lift it up off like that. Okay? Now with this, you can see I've already had wax in here once. So I need to actually make sure that that's clean. just gonna grab a paper towel and I'm just gonna stick this in the middle. Just kind of make sure that my glue dot will stick, because if it's waxy or anything, it's not gonna really stick. And we want it to stick down until that wax hardens. And it takes about, depending what kind of wax you're using, I've never used Wood Wick. Okay. Hi, Amy. How are you? I actually love the Wood Wicks. I don't always use Wood Wicks. But for my father-in-law, he wanted some candles. And I found with these mason jars, these Wood Wicks tend to work better. And I can get them to go and melt the wax all the way out. So now that I have my 2 jars prepped and ready, I'm going to set these aside now. Flaming Candle Co. and Candle Science is where I get all of my candle stuff. The wax I'm using today did come from Flaming Candle Co. And it's soft wax. So I can use this for pillar wax or for wax melts. I've tried it for both. It works for both. Not very many waxes do work for both. So make sure you read your wax when you're getting it. If you don't read your wax and you think you're getting it for tarts, because that's what wax melts are called, and it's actually for pillars only, it's gonna harden up and you're not gonna be able to get it out of your clamshells. Or at least your customers won't. What?
I just noticed a death.
What?
There was a bee on the trampoline and it died.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, it's not. Don't
Hello. Hi Sheila, how are you? We're just making some candles today. My father-in-law wanted some candles, so I figured I'd come live while I do it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is this candle wax right here is super soft and it like sticks to my hands. So I'm just gonna grab a glove so that I can grab this wax. Now, I already know how much grams of wax I need versus my fragrance oil. This is important, you need to know that. I know this because I've made these before, okay? And I'm actually going to melt all of this wax in this bag, because if it fills up these candles, which it's going to, it's gonna more than fill up these candles. I also have clamshells that I'm gonna use and make today. So this wax itself takes 2 days to cure and be ready to use, and to be ready to warm your candle, like light your candles, and or your wax melts. Others are 7 to 14 days. Again, read your wax, you need to know. If you're not reading the directions on your wax, then you will not know, and it's normally on the manufacturer's website. Okay, so make sure that you are reading that. We're gonna let this go ahead and start to melt. I like to put mica powders in mine to make them very pretty. However, if I'm making wax melts, I won't do that. You can also get candle dye. So this one is purple liquid candle dye. And this one is burgundy liquid candle dye. I don't have a lot of fragrances because like I said, I had stopped making candles for a while. But Candle Science is a good one. These ones came from Michael's. I do get some from Hobby Lobby. I get them from all over, okay? Today I think what we are gonna do, because my father-in-law loves like cologne fresh scents. This one is Crisp Fresh Breeze, and it's a full bottle almost. So we have that one. Ooh, sugared bergamot. I don't know that he'd like that one. I'm trying to find one that I know for sure he'll like. Thank you guys for tapping on that screen. That means a lot to me. Fresh sage. Guys, that one smells fantastic, and I think he would like that one, fresh sage, and it's pretty much a full bottle. Like there's hardly anything missing from this, and so I need a full bottle completely to be able to do both of these candles. So I think we're gonna mix that with a little bit of Nordic Night. I will mix scents. That's how you get your own fragrance. Oh, that smells so good. That one reminds me of Christmas though. I don't wanna. Okay, not rose. What do we got here? Cucumber. Okay, we're for sure gonna do the sugar. I might do that one and Crisp Breeze together. I think those two together will be great. So I will mix these two together because these all together are 1 ounce. 1 ounce to 1 pound of wax is gonna get you your fragrance. That's an easy way of knowing that. It's not always like that. I meant fresh sage, not sugar bergamot. Okay, so we're gonna use these two together because this is gonna be 1 ounce of the fragrance to my 1 pound of wax. I did not use my scale, but I do use a scale normally, but I didn't because I already knew, I know how much I need to put in my candles. But this is my scale. It is in my other showcase. So the one that I just said hello on, it says Amber Small Business Creator. That's my shop account. This is linked in there. I use this. I got this off of the TikTok shop, actually is where I got this. It works perfectly, and you can put it into grams, ounces, and or pounds. I use it for my candles because it is metal. So I can literally, as you see, just wipe the wax right off of it because these get messy, guys. Making candles just gets messy. So, and we're gonna move right along here. I'm not gonna kind of like, if you guys have any questions during any of this, you are more than welcome to ask me. But otherwise, I am gonna move right along and just do my things as if I was, you know, making it not online, if that makes sense. That out of my way. Okay, the other thing that I was telling you guys about is that I can use mica powders in here. Do not use glitters. You gotta be careful because things can catch on fire and cause your candles to literally explode. I'm looking for a bitter orange and eucalyptus candle. Okay. I don't know. I don't have anything like that right now. I did, but I actually don't right now. I have, the only thing I have is my Nordic Night that kind of smells like Christmas, but it does not have any orange in it. Okay, so I'm just kind of mixing this to kind of help that wax melt all the way through. Now you don't have to color your wax. Your wax can stay when this one hardens, it goes white. It's just white, okay? You don't have to color it if you choose not to. Let's see here. However, here it is. This is what I was looking for earlier, guys, that I was like, hey, this tool right here gets your candles directly down on your, it'll go over the top of my 9 ounce ones that I used to make, and it would put it directly center in the candle for me. Another thing you can use are these. So these right here are meant to color. They are meant to color the candles. These are the warnings. They should always go on the bottom of your candle. You should always have some kind of warning label about burning candles. Please make sure you do that. So we are going to just add that to the bottom of these 2 candles. Even though it's for my father-in-law, I'm still putting that on there. Always, always put your warning label on there. So this is what they look like. Again, my other one has all the links of where you can get all of this stuff, guys. I've even done like little tin candles when I was starting out. I started with little tins to try it out. They were all right. I love my glass candles. Let's see, what do I have here? I have eucalyptus and lemon, but I don't have eucalyptus and orange. Sorry. Okay. Now, if you are going to use something that is not candle fragrance, okay? Candle fragrance is different than a essential oil. So this is pure essential oil, but you want to make sure it's okay to be used in candles because, again, if you're not careful, you can set your house on fire. So make sure that you're looking for something that is okay. You can't just use just any essential oil. If it is something that is going to catch on fire, you need to be careful. This is meant for actual candles. Hi Brian, how are you? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to actually, where did my, here they are. Okay, so these right here are my mica oils. I do have some glitters in here, so we're gonna just pull those out because I'm not using glitter. But these right here are all things that I can use to color these candles. Okay. So we're gonna take some mica powders because they always make the candles look super pretty and I love them. We'll do this deep royal blue. And it does not take a lot. Thank you for looking, my dear. Of course. I'm so sorry I didn't have what you needed though. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my little metal thing here and I'm just gonna grab probably about that much because we've got quite a bit of wax in here and we're just gonna spin it in here. Okay, now that I got it off here, I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm telling you guys, this can get messy. Look how pretty that blue is though. Now, if you use these in wax melts, do know that when your wax melts melt, the mica color, the micas settle inside the warmers. And some people may not like that because you never know if it's gonna stain their warmers. So always let them know if you are making wax melts with mica colors and you're coloring them that way, let them know, hey, I did use mica colors in this. It could potentially, you know, do that. Now, I did add mica to it, which as you guys can see is really pretty, but we are also gonna add some blue color to it just to make them that deep blue. And I think that's good enough. You guys, I don't know if you guys can see that coming up from there, but look how pretty that is. So we're just gonna mix that in for a little bit. You do have to get your wax to a certain temperature before you add your fragrance oil. You want to make sure it's not too hot, but also that it's hit a certain temp. You're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I know if it's the right temp? It's the right temp depending on what your manufacturer for your fragrance says. So again, just like with the wax, me telling you guys, hey, you have to know, you know, your wax. You also have to know, like, with your fragrance oil, when is the flash point? Meaning, when can I put it into my wax? Because it'll just burn off. They're two different chemicals and they need to be able to mix together. And so if you have it too hot, it can end up burning that and you wouldn't have any fragrance whatsoever. With a candle, you get what's called a cold throw. So that's gonna be what the candle smells like before it's being warmed or, you know, lit. And then you have your hot throw. Your hot throw is what scent your candle gives off while it's being burned, while the wick is going. Now, that hot throw is really hard to get. I'm not gonna lie. The hot throw is one of the hardest things that you will try and get as a candle maker. I can tell you that right now, and you will never wanna skip your testing processes of your candles. Once you find something that works though, stick with it. I found what worked for me. I know exactly how much fragrance I need to have. I know that I need to have my fragrance in at a certain temp. And I wrote it all down so that I wouldn't forget in the very beginning because, I mean, I will forget. I'm very forgetful. That's just who I am. But you can do all sorts of things with candles. Like you can put your wax in here in different colors and put these on top of your candles. Okay, these are a lot of fun. They're called embeds. People love to see embeds on candles. When you see those whipped candles that have like strawberries and cherries and things like that and bananas, that's what these are. That's what they are using is embeds. They're literally whipping the candle wax and then putting that on it. So just keep that in mind. And if you guys have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask. I do not mind answering any questions whatsoever. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my thermometer. Now you can have two different kind of thermometers. You can have the one that goes inside, which I do have, or you can grab an infrared thermometer and you can check it. Now, the only problem with this is it could be reading also below onto here, which of course the bottom of this is gonna be a lot hotter than the wax. So I try to go at it at an angle. This is at 240 is what it says. If I'm like, I don't know that I trust that, which if that is the case, I need to bring this down because I cannot add my wax at 240. I need to grab my other thermometer at that point. Which, of course, I forgot where I put my other thermometer, so give me just a second, guys. I do have that turned down because I'm sure it is too hot, but I always want to make sure that I know about where the temp is on my candles. Here it is. Found it. Okay, so to get a more accurate reading when it's in something like this or even your candle melter, I suggest one of these. I'm going to turn this on. This takes longer, but we're going to see by dumping or by just popping it in where it's at. And I'm not touching the bottom of this because if I touch the bottom of it, I'm essentially getting the heat of the bottom. And I'm going to show you guys this one versus my infrared so you can kind of see the difference in how hot things are, so that we can see, is it giving us an accurate reading or is it not? Okay, so this one stopped at 219, okay? So can you guys see that, 219? So that one stopped at 219. Oh gosh. Hold please, sorry guys. That slipped out of my hand. Glad I didn't slip into the wax, that would have sucked. Okay. And this is saying 233, 234. So see the difference in the two? I'm going to go off the 218 because the 218 is more accurate. So at this point, I'm still too high. I need it to be about 180. Let it cool down and go from there. You can also, which I do have, and I don't know where it's at, but I have a pour tin that I could also put it in there and mix it in there, which also would be just fine to make sure that it's cooling down correctly. And then I use the other one that I showed you. My thermal one is more of a guide. Like, okay, this is about where it's at. When I get it out of here though, and I put it in like my piston, I can use that, know that it's a little bit more accurate reading, only because there's no heat source on this like there is this. And it does take a little bit for the wax to kind of cool down. You guys can see my ring light reflection in that wax. Look how pretty that is. That is just so pretty. Let's see. I'm going to move this on over to my plastic because this plastic right here, it's going to cool down a lot. It's also going to stick to the plastic though, and I have no way getting it off as if I use my metal one, but I don't know where my metal one went. But I'm sticking it in here just to kind of make it cool down faster because I cannot add the scent to my wax quite yet. Good, I'm glad to hear you're doing great, Missy. Thank you for stopping in my life. I appreciate you. So I'm making some candles for my father-in-law because he asked me to. I don't really make a whole lot of candles anymore. I make more wax melts. They tend to sell a little bit better, but he asked me to make them. So I figured, why not? And I figured I'd go live while I do it. I do also So Erin has been my day one. This girl has been helping me. She's watched me go through the struggles of my candle making. Telling you guys, it's not easy for sure. So we're looking to have this between 175 and 185. That's what we need this wax to be at for my fragrance oils. It's already past the 189, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. So we're just gonna let that sit for a second and cool down. But look at these cute, I have Halloween ones. I even have these little teddy bears. I have roses. Like, I have so many different ones that I could really be using. Here's my roses. These are like the embeds that I was talking about. That we're gonna do ghosts, guys. And if ghosts don't make it all the way, then maybe we'll do the pumpkins or the hocus pocus. Okay, let's check the temp and see where we are. It's definitely cooled down, which is great because that's what we're looking for. But I'm telling you, this is the part that takes me the longest, is waiting for it to actually cool down. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it back into here. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because it's gonna stir so much better in here for me. So we're gonna put it right back in here. Just like that. This out. So this is what I'm saying, like if you are using it in wax warmers, it does turn them the color when you're using mica. Whatever wax melts you're using. So if I go to use these ghosts and stuff, which I'll use them in my house, it's gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna add Crisp Breeze and we're gonna add all of it. And then we're gonna add fresh sage and we're just gonna add it all. And now I'm gonna stir this for 2 minutes. Some people say you don't have to, I just always have. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes. And what it's doing is it's getting these two chemicals mixed together so that it will actually smell and get together, so that when I burn these candles and stuff, it releases that fragrance oil like it's supposed to. It's inside of the wax. You don't want it to separate. We want it to marry each other and get inside. So that is what we are doing. I did too, and I am finding it's not as easy as I thought. I make so many things that my candles just kind of got put on the back burner. But wax melts tend to sell better for me, so I make a lot of wax melts, but my father-in-law wanted some candles made. So that's what we're doing today. And so I'm just teaching you guys how to do it. This account has to do testing. It definitely takes some time. Okay, thank you, Alexa. Shut my timer off. Okay, Alexa, stop with the timer. She really wanted me to know. Okay, so now that this has been mixed and we're good, I'm gonna now add it to my piston cup to be able to add it to my candles. And then from there, I'm going to add it to my wax melts. So I'm gonna unplug this because I no longer need it plugged in. I'm gonna put my piston cup here. Now I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, this is meant for like frosting and stuff. I don't know, maybe batter, cake batter probably. I use it for candles. I'm just gonna pour this all the way in there. Now when you go to pour your candles, you need your wax to cool down as much as possible also. Because two reasons. One, you can make your wick pop up off the candle, and you don't want that. And two, it will get the best candle adhesion to the glass by letting it cool down. So that's the other part that takes me the longest, is because I need it to cool down before I stick it into my candles. Now, here's the thing. I will normally let it cool down quite a bit. But because I'm on live and I'm showing you guys and it's for my father-in-law, I don't care about the candle adhesion. I do care about it popping those glue dots up from the bottom of this. So I am going to let it cool just a little bit, but not as much as I normally would. Not as much as I normally would. And the reason for that being is I don't care about candle adhesion today. But if you're going to sell these, if you're going to sell them and you're going to give them to somebody and they're going to pay money, you might want to care a little bit about candle adhesion. For those that don't know what candle adhesion is, that is when your candle is sticking to the side of, so you can see how right here my candle's really good to my jar, but then there's this little spot right here that's not. So this right here is the candle adhesion, because it's really good through here, which you can't really see. It's just this one little spot that it's not. It could essentially come out if you don't have it good. And some people care about what that looks like the look could be something that could bother you. But when I put these on, 9 times out of 10, I can cover up anywhere that it's not adhering to correctly, to be honest. But I don't know. Some people really care about that. Some people don't. This wax though that I'm using, it's such a good wax. I love this wax. I did get it from Flaming Candle Co. is where I got it. I make lots of things, but never started candles. Yeah, it's definitely one that takes a lot out of your day. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I normally try to make a batch of candles, but it takes a lot of wax to make a batch of candles. Okay, this is where I am going to use my infrared, because honestly, I don't care now about my candles being at the exact temp. This is where I would use it to just kind of get a rough estimate about where I'm at. And it says 188. So, I mean, theoretically, I could pour, but I'm going to give it just a little bit more. A little bit more to sit and kind of cool down. That is pretty hot. I normally use the clamshells, and I don't know that I have any because I need to buy more clamshells themselves, but I don't know if I have any more wax melts because they do sell so quickly. Wax melts are like one of my #1 sellers. I do have quite a bit of like candle jars. So these are other candle jars that I have with the bamboo lid that are pink, like I just showed you. But these ones right here are the 8-ounce candles. So they're super cute. I love them. The bamboo lids are one of my favorites because they are very popular. But I'm not seeing, nope, I'm not seeing any of my other ones. The mason jars that I'm making today are popular, but I can say trying to get a label on the mason jars, that's a little bit harder. Again, if you guys have any questions about candles or anything that I make, please feel free to ask me. I love to try and help other people who have small businesses like me or creators. I love to share tips and tricks. I do that on 2 other accounts on TikTok, so it is definitely something I love doing. These right here are the lids for these mason jars. So those are the lids that we'll be placing on top of them. I need to order fragrances for my freshies. Yes. I haven't ordered any new ones. I went to Michael's and gotten some, but I've not ordered any new ones. Sitting down. I need to stand up for this because this piston cup thingy is definitely heavy. Okay. And I always pour my candles slow. I love this piston cup thing because it makes it super easy to pour the cups or the candles. So there's candle 1. Let me bring you guys down. So this is candle 1. It almost looks like an ocean, guys. Is that not so pretty? I do leave the wick in the candle while it's hardening. I cut the wick after the fact, and I use my wick cutter and measure. So you guys won't see that part today because this does take a little bit, but this is how I know how much, because I put it on my wick right here and bring it down to touch the candle, and then I know where to cut it. I know it is, right? Okay, so I'm going to slightly and carefully move this one out of the way to over here. I'm going to put you guys back up here, and we're going to pour the next one. Okay, so I'm going to let that get into focus, and then we'll do the next one. Okay. I'm going to turn it this way. Guys, I can actually get another candle out of this. That is really pretty. These candles are just so pretty. Are they not just so pretty? I love those. Okay. And I have quite a bit of wax left. So definitely going to have more than just the ghosts. And what's weird is these ghosts are going to be blue. So we're going to do some ghosts. And maybe some hocus pocus. Let's see what we get out of it. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Because I'm going to use these in my wax warmers. How many would buy like shaped wax? I wonder, there's got to be a cute way for me to like be able to get it to people. Me and Aaron have talked about like doing it as like a guest thing, and now that it's becoming winter again, I can totally do that, or like a thank you thing. They're definitely bigger than like a cube. What about the ball candle for your daughter? Oh, Missy saved you, Shay. Okay, so what I'm using is the CD 12-inch pre-wicked tabs. These are actually the ones that I use in my 9-inch stretch ones. This goes through the bottom of this. I'm pretty positive. Guys, it gets so confusing sometimes with these things. Missy's laughing. Yeah. Okay. And then I gotta get a thing that holds this. I think so. Yeah, I thought so too, because I remember when I first made it and I tried to put it in the bottom and it didn't work, and then I was like, oh. Oh, it filled it all the way, guys. I still have some left. Okay, so there's her candle. So yes, the bottom of the wick goes underneath in the hole right here of the mold is where it does go if you guys ever want to make mold ones. You do have to keep in mind, watch your wax, because anything that is meant for like jars is not normally meant for pillar wax, which is exactly what that candle is a pillar candle. A pillar candle is going to be one that is not inside of a container. For it to be inside of one of these things. So if you were on my live earlier, we made some candles. Also the wax that I use, look how smooth that candle top is. Love it. We made some Hocus Pocus and some ghosts. I'm going to show you guys right now the outcome of those, and then this for my daughter. So pause for a second and I'll show you. Okay, so we're going to pop one of these guys out and give it a look. Okay, but how cute is that? And then we're going to pop out a ghost. Look at the cute ghost, you guys. I love it. Okay, so I told you guys I had a little thing that sits on the candle. That would be this, to let me know where to measure and cut. Booyah! So it lets me measure, and then I can put the top on, and this candle is set and ready to go. Okay, same with this though. I need to be able to cut this. So I'm just gonna set that down and cut that. Boom. There we go. Now with this, I need to demold it. However, I think that needs to sit. So we're not gonna demold this one quite yet, but we'll get these guys out. Look how cute. I'm gonna put these in my wax warmers. They're so freaking cute, guys. This is the ones that I was making on my live. So these are scented, and it is wax for candles. Aren't they so cute, guys? Like, I cannot get over how cute they turned out. Okay, and now I'm gonna just do the rest of the Hocus Pocus ones. These ones are super thick, so these ones I would only put one inside a warmer. They are soft, so like me pushing up on it can mess that up. But look how cute these are. Like, just demolding them is so much fun. Making wax melts is a lot of fun. I love them. They turn out so cute. These ones do have mica powder, so they could potentially, it'll rest in the bottom of my warmer, but that's okay. Okay, and last but least, we are going to go ahead and clip this down, just like that. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna put that top right on there. So now my candles are ready to go with their warning signs and everything. So 2 candles with some wax melts looks great, right guys?